Hello everyone, and welcome to this very serious reading of one of my old stories that I wrote. Now, you might have read the thumbnail and thought to yourself, Blue, we're in February. Christmas is 2 months ago now. Why are we reading a Christmas story in frickin' February? Well, for one, because December was full of traveling to other places, and January was freaking out about this new Spider-Verse movie, which I loved. And only now I checked on my old files to remind myself of my youth, when I didn't know yet how cruel this world was, and wanted to share the world my stories, my thoughts on the world, on how it can improve. And second, fuck you, it's my channel. I do what the hell I want, when I want, okay? Now, for some context, if I remember correctly, I actually had to write this story for school. Most of my stories I have on my laptop have been from free will, you could say, but this was actually homework as far as I can remember. And it makes me think, wow, our middle school projects were way more childish than I thought they were. Brilliant. Anyway, so I tried to translate my story a little bit. There are some expressions I thought I should maybe change, but then I thought, you know what? Maybe it'd be funnier if I just left them be. So let's just jump right into it. Make yourself cozy, turn off the lights, eat your pizza or whatever you're eating right now, and just relax as you listen to me tell you the story of Lady Santa. In the middle of the North Pole, one could hear chaos in a house that looked like a gingerbread house. But when one goes through the gates, you couldn't see your hands in front of your eyes with so many elves inside. This is one of those German expressions that I just talked about, like you couldn't see your hand in front of your eyes because of this and that. But imagine the room with that expression. Just imagine how funny the image must be. Just a room full of elves, just stuck in one big room, couldn't move. Tiny green-dressed creatures went to the machines and toys. Thousands and thousands of elves already prepared 500,000 presents in just an hour. No wonder. There was a huge calendar hanging in which the date 24th of December was circled in. Soon it was the Holy Night. The Holy Night! The boss, naturally Santa Claus, obviously, sat as always in his office and checked on his list of all the goodwill children around the world for the second time. Next to the present factory, there was another small, decorated gingerbread house. The house is just as colorful on the inside as the present factory. In the kitchen, the wife of Santa Claus was baking cookies. Lady Santa. Every Christmas day, she thinks about watching her husband doing his job, but she had no duty to fulfill in the factory, so she would just be in the way, or how the Germans would say it, brick on someone's foot. Instead of just calling someone a prick, you can just call them a brick and just confuse the hell out of them. Dude, you're such a brick! Stop following us! Why am I a brick now? If he could at least just let me see his reindeers, sighs Lady Santa. She never gets to see them throughout the entire year. That's just kind of sad. Like, just go outside and look at them. They're probably somewhere in the stall. Don't just be inside the house, Jesus. Her husband should have returned home 10 minutes ago to say goodbye to her. But like every year, he forgets about it because of all the cookies he eats. She begged him once to have a diet, But then Santa would always say,
"But then the children wouldn't recognize me. Santa must be chubby. And besides, I lost a pound a week ago."
Such enthusiasm. Body positivity for everyone, everybody. Suddenly, someone entered the house. Full with hope that he didn't forget it this time, Lady Santa runs to the main entrance hall. But she didn't find her husband, but one of his workers, QB. QB? 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 He was responsible to inform Lady Santa whenever something went wrong. Before Lady Santa could ask him, QB screamed,
"The boss was kidnapped!"
That was my elf's impression. Hope you're proud of that. Lady Santa knew immediately who was responsible for this. Auntie Santa. Everything bad just has to be put with an anti. He lived in the South Pole and was Santa Claus's adopted brother. He hates Christmas. It kind of sounds like a Gary Sue, if you get what I mean. Like the exact opposite place over Santa Claus lives Auntie Santa, and he is his adopted brother. Those are some red flags for character writing. Like, Jesus, no. He probably wants to keep him hostage until he starves to death. Oh no, this could happen rather quickly, thought Lady Santa. Good to see she has so much confidence in her husband's survival. That's great. QB didn't wait any longer and pulled Lady Santa towards the sled.
"We're running out of time! The sun will rise again in 2 hours!"
Little me did not understand time zones back then. Jesus, why? Before she went to the sled, she got dressed. Obviously, they were prepared because she got female clothes as Santa Claus. Kind of vague, don't you think? Just imagine this Christmas clothing from this one video. What was it called? Thank You Next from Ariana Grande. Just imagine those clothes. Lady Santa got on the sled and started to panic. She never knew how to drive a sled. But the sled was flying by itself. QB turned it on autopilot. Just imagine pushing a button on one of the reindeers. Like,
"Oh, you don't know how to fly the sled. Here, let me push on Rudolph's nose for a second."
beep! The flight went fast and rough. On QB's signal, she'd throw a present and land it in the chimney. Sometimes, she'd fall from the sled and was pulled back up with a ladder. Maybe that was the reason why Santa Claus had to be heavy, because then Lady Santa wouldn't fall off from the speed as well. From the speed, okay, that's on me. That's not a grammar mistake. I copied from the old text. That one's on me. Now you're probably imagining that I described now the trials and all the dangers that come with delivering all these presents to other children. How QB might be sharing what the boss is feeling about his wife, and how he is afraid that his wife might fall off from the sled, and all the dangers that come. Maybe Lady Santa would learn a lesson from all of this, finding a new perspective from her husband's side, and or maybe even interacting with some of the children, finding joy and understanding the great journey that is delivering presents and all the hardships, all the beautiful memories one could do, and how Lady Santa and Santa Claus would finally understand each other more. It went faster than expected because in 3 hours they flew around the entire world. Well, okay then. Try to do that, Phileas Fogg, thought Lady Santa. 80 days, what a joke. Get it? Because Phileas Fogg wrote that one book. Moving on. Only one present was left. On the present, there was written, Auntie Santa? Hubie said that the boss always wanted to give him that, but he usually didn't have the time for that. The sled could arrive at the South Pole in 5 minutes. Of course it could. The ride was long, but then they were in front of the gates. Instead of a tasty gingerbread house, there was a spoiled gingerbread house. Very distinct. Not because of the color or maybe how it smells or the colors or something like that. No, it's just more spoiled. Don't think about it. Lady Santa wanted to enter when suddenly a voice was heard.
Who dares to enter my home?
Lady Santa lifted the present and the voice sounded surprised.
A present? For me?
The gates opened and a black-dressed Santa appeared. Of course, he was just black-dressed as Santa. Nothing else of any distinction. Sure. Right. Also, it's great that he just opens the door without questioning anything. Like, he just kidnapped the most famous figure of all time. And he just opens the door. Great. Great for him. He opened the delivered present and got happy. It was a family picture. Auntie Santa smiled. Seems like he thought that he didn't have a family. But here was the proof of the opposite. He freed his adoptive brother and everyone flew back to the North Pole. Okay, then I guess nothing more to discuss here. All the tiny elves were happy to see their boss again, just like his wife. Santa Claus promised her that he won't ever leave her alone again, because from that day forward, she could come along. Wearing a seatbelt. The end. Now, what have we learned in this story? First, whenever someone says female clothing, it is vague as hell, and you should probably ask more questions of what that means. Second, love your brother, I guess? And third, let your wife on the sled, but give her a seatbelt because she's not heavy enough. Good morals, everybody! Hey there, looking at the animatic there? Isn't it beautiful? Wouldn't it have been nice if it were happening throughout the entire video? Well, not really in hindsight, because I just kind of blocked it all the time with the text of the story. So maybe it was for the better to not have it in there. Gotta always look at the bright side of things. Anyway, so I want to use my microphone a little bit more often for other videos. It'd be nice to just kind of talk again. And I really thought this video was kind of fun. And I really liked just, reading out, training my English expression, pronunciation skills. That was smooth. I kind of just miss in general to just read things and just kind of edit it together. So if you have any comics you want me to read again, just like, the good old days, that'd be really appreciated, because I can't find anything. I even asked Spencer if he knew anything, but he also doesn't really have a clue, so that's on hold for a while. I kind of plan to use my microphone a little bit more often, not necessarily in a way of comic dubs, but maybe also make just videos where I just talk, or just tell some stories of my past, like kind of like Twisted Disaster or Emily Artful, because they can be way more entertaining than I thought they would be. Like, seriously, I still can't get that frickin' song out of my head from a frickin' story time art video. Don't touch me, bitch, I got a bread bowl. Don't touch me, bitch, I got a bread bowl. I've never had a bread bowl. Why am I so obsessed with this? Also, before I forget, oof, a bit nervous to say this, I am accepting commissions from the moment this video is up. I will link in the description sites where I will list the prices and rules to what you can request, what you can commission me for, what you can't commission me for. And if I don't, you can scream at me for that. Just comment, spam me with saying, where the hell are the links? I want to see those sites. Where are the links? Because I tend to forget that, which is a bad habit. So yeah, just tell me what kind of videos you want to see, if I should use my microphone more, if I should make comic dubs, if you have any suggestions, if I should read another weird story I have on my laptop, because I have a few. But I think Lady Santa is the only one that is actually finished. So yeah. If you also want to hear story time, if you want to hear my opinions on stuff, I don't know. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a good day, and welp, see you next time.